If you selected this video, welcome. U.S. Virgin Islands International Chess. You selected the Sicilian Defense and how to learn about modern inaccuracies when playing with white. Another game from my collection here on the Elite Chess Freebase Open web server. With the black pieces in this game, my opponent from Colombia, over 2000 in classical time format. Another classical 30-minute game for each player. Let's get right into it, guys. E4, C5, another Sicilian Defense. So many games of this in my playlist if you guys check out. We talk about how to put pressure on white and how to make things challenging and to create complications for white in many positions. So with B3, this is all just well-known stuff. Bishop B3, Bishop B2, after D6, Knight F6, and Knight to C3 and E5. This has all been seen before. This has probably been played thousands and thousands of times on the online databases. Bishop to B5, my opponent being a bishop to B5 player. Now just defending with bishop to D7, short castles, A6, captures, and this line has been seen, as mentioned just before, guys, thousands and thousands of times. Let's get into understanding white's inaccuracies and how to develop the black pieces after white has castled before black. Rook to E1, B5, and typically after D3, yes, the knight after playing B4 is going to get to the E2 square. That's exactly what was played in this game, guys. So let's just go over this game without too much analysis. Let's just go over some mistakes here from white. And take away from this, guys, if you're playing white and you go for a Sicilian defense, try to stay away from some of these inaccuracies. One or two small inaccuracies in a Sicilian defense, playing against someone who's an expert or a master in the Sicilian, can be quite detrimental and may end up in a loss for white. And we don't want to lose our chess games, right? So knight to G3, this is all seen. Two knights here on the king side, ready to develop. Yes, knight to F5. As we see here, the engine loves knight to F5 in this position. Only 13 moves have been played. G6 now. In most cases, I guess captures is the best continuation. And after queen to E7, we see some development maybe here for white now on the king side. White can even push H4 or drop the bishop back to C1. Again, H4, bishop to C1, and life can go on. That didn't happen in the game. My opponent did not capture the dark squared bishop, just going back to G3. And this is where some of the mistakes begin, because now after H6, now comes H5. And pretty much making it clear that, okay, after this skewer of black pawns here on the king side, maybe, yeah, forcing white to play H5, H4, and that H2, H4, and that was what was played in the game, guys. Thank you for participating. Let's keep going. Knight to G4 played by myself, and now bishop to C1, adding a little more coverage to the G file. But now, guys, if you're a chess player, you'll notice that, yes, there is a pawn here, and in all these cases, yeah, okay, so black would be winning a pawn here if black captures, and knight is actually not expected to capture here. If knight captures, then queen captures, and now we're forcing a checkmate here in 1 on H2, and that white king is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so that's why knight to H2, grabbing the other knight and putting it on H2 was the best response. So black is up a pawn in this position. Now just capturing the H2 knight with my G5 knight, and after king H2, bishop to G3 now, checking the white king, of course, recapturing with the king. Perhaps it was best maybe to capture. Yes, the engine evaluation says it's best to capture with the F pawn here, and yeah, life can continue. Now queen F6 can come. I can even drop my bishop back to D7, but yeah, castles, just getting that queen developed, maybe to somewhere like E2 or F3. If this rook F1 and queen to G7, and things can start happening here even for white now. There's so much variance in these openings. Yeah, planting that bishop there on G5. Now I can't castle long. Short castling isn't even recommended. So yeah, maybe dropping the bishop back here. Play can continue. That was a little virtual analysis, guys. None of that was seen in the game, okay? Instead, we saw knight captures. And the mistake here was not capturing with the F-pawn. So now we're going over some inaccuracies for white, because that means now that you get to check the king with H4, and the king is forced to drop back. And now black is in full control here. All of white's pieces here are still in the back rank, and the A1 rook is out of play. Black never castled this game. Let's keep going. Rook to f1, defending the f2 pawn as it was under attack by the queen. Bishop to d7, and now f4. Okay, guys, so without looking at the notation below, find the best continuation for black in this position. Be a chess player and find the best move for black. Yeah, just e captures f, and after bishop captures, maybe it might look okay to capture here with the rook, but it's actually going to create more complications after you play, yes, queen to a1 as the bishop blocks the defense from the queen there. So that would be a mistake, taking with the rook, instead taking with the bishop. So well played by my opponent. And now g5, so attacking the bishop. Bishop drops back, and now the black queen is under attack now here. It recommends that the best move is queen to e5 check, and that's actually what was played. Whoops, not queen captures, just queen e5 check. And king moves back to g1, that's correct. So 25 moves have been played, and black is up a pawn in this position and winning. So let's continue. Just going over a few small inaccuracies from white guys, how not to play the Sicilian defense while giving up a pawn and making a few small mishaps in the middle game. h3, queen f3 played by my opponent, bishop to e6, offering an exchange of queens here, now saying, well, I'm going to capture your rook. My opponent saying, I'm going to take the h8 rook. So accepting, I'm up a pawn now, and there are still threats of h captures on g2, and that's exactly what was played, guys. If you found this position, congratulations. H captures on g2, and not capturing here with the king. That would not be recommended in this position, as things could start piling up and getting a little bit worse. Now black can even long castles, but a better move is just playing king to e7 and now attacking the white rook. White rook can drop back, and then now you have a double attack here. And yeah, I would say black still looks pretty good here, although there is a check, and king's encouraged to go back to any square. We would see an exchange, and you'd actually lose the bishop if you exchange there. None of that happened in the game, guys. Let's take it back now. Let's go back to what was played. Rook captures, and now h takes on g2, and bishop capturing on g5 was also a mistake. Now, guys, if you're chess players, without looking at the notation, find the best move for black in the position, as also bishop to g5 was a blunder. Okay, so if you guys pick up that kingside rook and you play rook to h1, that is perfect. And what was played in the game is king g2, and now you're losing your a1 rook, right? A few more moves were played. Rook to h6, now saying, well, I'm going to check your king, and the king doesn't have a square to go to on e7, but I can go to d7, and everything's fine. King to d7 was the last move played in the game. Black is up an entire rook, and we can call it. Okay, so my opponent from Colombia here made a few mistakes with white. I wanted to go over and show some of those mistakes. If you guys want to review the video, please feel free to pause, rewind it, and go through and look at what we talked about. Again, this was the Sicilian Defense with U.S. Virgin Islands International Chess. I want to thank everyone for participating and watching, as per usual. Good luck with your chess online and over the board, and stay safe. See everyone on the other side.